Right now at 6, the Trailblazers' new head coach sets the tone for the team's future.
We're not going to be a team that sits around and hopes people miss. We're going to force them to make tough shots.
Plus, a follow-up KGW investigation reveals just how many veterans have had insurance claims denied for a diagnosis they say is linked to their service.
These veterans are slowly, progressively getting worse.
Then, why dozens of teachers in Oregon's biggest school district just got layoff notices.
We don't have the money because the state is not appropriately funding education.
And how politics over pride are about to meet in a Seattle World Cup match, with both teams trying to get the celebration canceled.
It's really about elevating Seattle and the LGBT community.
But first, to a follow-up to a KGW investigation into veterans suffering from a rare and incurable muscle disease. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. As we've been reporting, many are being denied disability benefits, and now new numbers show just how often those claims are being rejected.
Investigator reporter Kyle Aboshi's work in part convinced the VA to change its mind about at least one case. And now, Kyle, you've been digging through this data.
These new figures come from a Freedom of Information Act request filed by our team of reporters across the country as part of an ongoing investigation called Diagnosis Denied. The data shows the VA has denied more than 8 out of 10 disability claims filed by veterans diagnosed with inclusion body myositis, or IBM. For months, we shared the stories of veterans diagnosed with a rare muscle disease called inclusion body myositis, or IBM, which many believe was caused by their military service.
Obviously, there's a correlation.
And each story had a common theme. The VA rejected their initial disability claim.
They deny every initial claim almost automatically.
It was denied. It was denied almost immediately.
I was denied. New data obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request shows 306 veterans filed IBM-related disability claims over the past 5 years. The VA approved just 55 of them. Most, 251, were denied. And the number of veterans filing claims is rising sharply. It's more than tripled in 4 years.
Look at me. Live my life for a day. I wouldn't wish this on anybody.
Greg Rathburn and his wife Lori live in Southern Oregon. They've been fighting for benefits for more than a decade.
I had to put my effort and he had to put his effort into his care and just getting through each day, and we just couldn't put the effort into it anymore, so we gave up.
In early June, VA Secretary Doug Collins said veterans are being evaluated on a case-by-case basis, while a scientific panel examines the link between IBM and military service. Results are not expected until next summer.
We just need to make sure that we're continuing to get the evidence, continuing to follow up on what our veterans are telling us, and that will show us the clear path to what we need to do.
But the veterans and their attorneys say the evidence is clear, and waiting is not an option. There is no pause button for IBM. There is no cure.
It's catastrophic. These veterans are slowly, progressively getting worse and worse. They're denied the benefits.
Attorney Ursula McCabe points to ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, as a model for how the VA could treat IBM differently. Veterans with ALS automatically qualify for service-connected benefits because the disease occurs in veterans at a much higher rate than the general population.
Seriously look at it the way they looked at ALS and the prevalence in the veteran community, because it deserves a serious review.
Last year alone, 91 veterans filed IBM claims. The VA denied 71 of them.
They don't have any idea what to do with you when you come in with this disease because it is so rare.
Greg Rathburn finally got the benefits he fought for. The VA revisited his case after our reporting and reversed its denial. But the data shows that seldom happens. For most, there is no news coverage, no attorney, and no reversal. Their story ends with a denial. Senator Ron Wyden and other members of Congress have written to the VA pushing the agency to track IBM cases and speed up its review. If you'd like to see our full investigative documentary, Diagnosis Denied, go to the KGW streaming app. It's free and available for streaming right now.
Appreciate the follow-up and your reporting as always, Kyle.
In your headlines, police in Spokane have arrested a man they say shot and killed a teen last year at a Gresham Park. Detectives identified the suspect as Camarino Videz. They say he shot 17-year-old Jorge Vasquez in an unprovoked attack at Vance Park in January of last year. Earlier this week, law enforcement in Spokane identified Videz while he was in custody for a different case. He's now awaiting extradition to Oregon.
In Beaverton, police have identified the 14-year-old who was hit by a car while riding an e-scooter and later died from his injuries. This is a look at the memorial that is growing for Jacob Tran along Southwest Shoals Ferry near Roy Rogers. Tran was preparing to begin his freshman year at Mount Zion High there and was on his way to a summer football workout yesterday morning when he was hit. Police say Tran was wearing a helmet and in a marked crosswalk. The 16-year-old driver stayed at the scene and police say he is cooperating.
A judge sentenced this man to life in prison today for stabbing a woman to death on New Year's Eve back in 2024. Prosecutors say Jason Perillo stabbed 41-year-old Catherine Cross about 30 times while the two were meeting for a drug deal in Cross's RV in Wilsonville. They say Perillo killed Cross to steal about $7,000. That included a winning lottery ticket they say he cashed in after her death. Perillo pleaded guilty to second-degree murder before the sentencing today.
And in Hillsborough, firefighters responded to 2 house fires at the same time just after 2 this afternoon. It includes this one on Southeast Oak where 2 people were trapped on the 2nd floor. Crews rescued them and they were taken to the hospital. One, though, has life-threatening injuries. While that was happening, firefighters also responded to a blaze on Southeast Patterson. The flames there stayed mostly on the outside of the home, and no one there was hurt.
And taking a step outside and looking at Pioneer Courthouse Square, rain on the bricks. We're feeling a bit cooler today compared to earlier this week. And some raindrops, like you see there, already starting to move into the area this evening.
And Matt, I bet a lot of folks are actually looking forward to that change.
I think so, yeah. It's been a very, very warm month of June so far. We've had 6 days in the 90s. That's way above average. So a little cool down, a couple days with some wet weather. Not a bad thing at all this time of the year. Look at Astoria. Boy, low clouds hanging on. It's raining there again. 55 degrees. 55. It's cool. In southwest winds. And Astoria is one of the only places so far reporting measurable rain, but that's beginning to change. We've had some measurable rain in Washington County. Been watching the lake here along the 18th fairway at the Reserve Golf Course. And there's been raindrops on it. It is 65 degrees there, but again, temperatures have been dropping. We peaked around 70, and you can see the rain that's pushing into the valley right now, crossing I-5 as we zoom in and get closer. Now, it's not a solid mass of moderate to heavy rainfall, but it's solid in areas. There are breaks in between, and there's more coming on shore. And as I look out the window here, I can see wet pavement in downtown Portland too. So it is game on with the rainfall. So far, not a lot of measurable rain, but Scappoose has now recorded a little bit, 2/100 of an inch there, 1/100 of an inch down in McMinnville. Again, these amounts aren't big, obviously, but it does indicate that we're getting into steadier rainfall. 4/100 of an inch now up at Astoria. So it is beginning to add up, and the temperatures have been really dropping. Look at this. We're running nearly 30 degrees cooler in McMinnville compared to 6 o'clock last night. 29-degree difference there. Portland, a 19-degree difference. Scappoose, 23-degree difference. So big change, of course, in our air mass there. Seaside looking very rainy and spring-like. Okay, tomorrow, showers on and off throughout the day. It won't be raining every hour of every day, but every day part could easily have at least a few showers. Sunday looks a little bit better. We'll talk about that in a bit, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Matt.
All right, let's get going. A new era of Blazers basketball now underway, and this is on top of the big ownership change, of course, earlier this year. The team today officially introducing its new head coach. He is Micah Nori, and he comes to Rip City after 5 seasons as an assistant with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Evan Watson is live at Moda, and Evan, worth noting here, he has only got a 1-year contract to start.
Yeah, definitely an interesting contract arrangement. Micah Nori has been a candidate for other NBA head coaching jobs over the past few years. He said today on about 5 other occasions, different NBA teams told him that he was second place, the runner-up for that spot. Well, now with the Blazers, he has the top spot, taking over a playoff team that's welcoming back Damian Lillard. A new era of Blazers basketball begins with Micah Nori taking over as head coach.
To Rip City. I finally get to be on this side of it after 28 years of coming out here and just seeing all the red, seeing all the noise, and just it's a very tough to play. And I looked at it and super excited to be a part of it.
Nori is a longtime NBA assistant, most recently with the Timberwolves, and he says getting hired to lead a winning team is rare and motivating.
A playoff roster, adding a future Hall of Famer in this great city with this fan base and the support that we get, it's an opportunity that I could not pass up, and it was ecstatic to take.
The Athletic reports Norrie's contract is a one-year deal with team options for the following 2 years, an unusual agreement with little job security. Blazers general manager Joe Cronin explained the contract balances risk and reward.
Micah and I and Tom, we agreed to take a chance on each other. We believe in him. He believes in us. Going into this 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, I told you all we were going to approach this with a level of shared risk, and we tried to find that balance.
Norrie classified it as a bet on himself.
As far as the contract goes and the way it's set up, the way that I look at this is opportunity.
As for the basketball, Norrie promises that the Blazers will no longer lead the league in turnovers per game.
We are going to be a physical team, a relentless team, putting ball pressure, picking guys up, hitting people, and then offensively, the most important thing we have to do is take care of the basketball.
His hiring comes as the team and the city of Portland negotiate public funding for a potential Moda Center renovation. On Wednesday, Blazers owner Tom Dundon criticized the team's history of tanking for better draft picks.
Sounds terrible. They're trying to lose a little bit, and I'm not doing that. So if we'll try to win.
Norrie says Dundon's focus on winning now gives him confidence.
It feels good when I can go out and my staff can go out and these players can go out, and only thing we're worried about is executing and winning basketball games. And it's not a thing where we have to develop this guy or do that. No. The charge has been to win as many basketball games as we possibly can.
Norrie spoke at the Blazers practice facility earlier today, and I noticed something that Blazers fans might be interested in. All-star Denny Avdia had finished up practicing, and in the back of the gym, he stuck around and listened to Norrie's first full press conference.
Yeah, interesting notice there. Okay, so Evan, I also understand that Norrie's short-term contract not going over all too well among his peers. So what's the deal with that?
Yeah, that is a great point. So JB Bickerstaff is the coach of the Detroit Pistons, also the leader of the National Basketball Coaches Association, and he came out yesterday and told the media that this contract was a, quote, slap in the face to other NBA head coaches, saying it devalues the position, both the salary, rumored salary, and the length, being a one-year deal with team options after that. Norrie did respond to that, say he talked to JB Bickerstaff on the phone. Everything is all good between them. He understood his position, but he explained, Norrie did, that he just wants this opportunity and he views it as a chance to prove himself.
Interesting perspectives, and we'll see what happens next. Thank you so much, Evan.